Hey guys, Edre here, and today I'm going to be doing a new album review, and I apologize for the weird lighting today, and I also apologize for not making videos over the past few days, simply because I've been very distracted with the election and everything. But today I'm going to be reviewing the new Trippie Red album, Pegasus, an album I was ready for. Trippie Red has been doing everything he can to carry the emo rap torch while having his own style, which I appreciate. But on this album, Trippie Red definitely does continue down that emo rap aesthetic, but really does hammer in the atmosphere of the album quite a bit. It is a very atmospheric album, with a pretty consistent vibe throughout the entire project. However, the way I'm going to structure this review is going to be much more intertwining my track by track commentary with my overall thoughts on the album, because at the end of the day, many of the tracks in here feel void of any deep emotion or any deep thought whatsoever. And it's frustrating how on an album that's supposed to be more on that emo rap side, supposed to be a bit more emotional, a bit more, like that I feel that so many of these songs are so lifeless and void of any emotion. Perhaps the thing that really makes this album crash and burn the most is that the novice lyrics on this album, the novice lyrics on here, drag this thing down to a point where it could be unlistenable in spots. They fail to make the listener even think the slightest. They're so simplistically written, such as the sappy breakup song, or breakup trap ballad, Love Scars 4. It's a song that to me is just so void of any deep emotion or any deep thought that it doesn't stick. It doesn't even make me think. And on top of all of that, we have a bloated track list, which makes it over an hour long, well over an hour long, to get hour 14, with a ton of unimaginative, unoriginal filler, which just drags and drags this album out. The Nether is a song where Trippie has a very just bland, uninspired sounding delivery on his verse. And the instrumental, the beat itself, is about just as lifeless as possible. And even the opening track, Let It Out, is a very uninspired and barren track that is just bland, doesn't leave the listener with anything to take home. It's just there, it exists. The features across the board on this album are also just straight up weak. Little effort, especially from Party Next Door, and possibly even more so Young Thug, one of my favorite and one of I think, the most talented rappers out there in the game. The song Spaceship, with Young Thug on it, features him at his least inspired and probably some of his least impressive works he has done all year. And not only that, it has one of the most monotonous beats possible, with some of the most cringy and just obnoxious lyrics. One of the things I wrote down here was the line about girls from Portugal, they're Portuguese. You don't say. Of course they're Portuguese. But either way, there is a handful of songs on here, maybe like one or two, that I think do kind of buoy this album up a slight bit. Never Change is a song that I think was saved by Future's feature quite a bit. I actually was satisfied with Future's delivery on that song. Overall, solid beat, solid track. Overall, my overall feelings on this album was just disappointment. It doesn't feel like anything original that, I haven't heard done better by 1,000 other rappers in terms of the atmosphere. In terms of the emo rap, it's so weak compared to so many other great emo rappers out there. And at the end of the day, this is a shorter review because I simply feel like for an album that is so long with over an hour's worth of material, I have so little to talk about here. It's so uninspired, lifeless, void of any actual deep thought that got really put into this. And it's so surface value that you get what you hear. There's no analyzing, there's no deep meaning behind this. No. It's a bland, it's a uninspired, a monotonous, and emotionless emo rap album, which left me in many ways, just not liking it. I've settled on giving this album a light 3 out of 10, which is a negative review. Anything below a 5 is bad. Anything above a 5 is good. So, light 3 is better than a 1 or 2. I mean, I will tell you that. But, yeah, Trippie Redd did not hit it out of the park here. It left me feeling very bland. Very, just, what happened? What happened?